What is up, my dashing dudes and darling dames? I am the Hans TV, and welcome back to your weekly dose of inane idiocy. It's r/StoriesAboutKevin. Our first post for today comes from Zelda Spell Factory. My brother is a Kevin. My older brother is an idiot. I refer to him as my idiot brother. Sadly, he is my only brother. Many years ago, when he was a senior in high school, we had a dog. Idiot brother decided if it was good enough for his dog, it was good enough for him. He was the one responsible for cleaning the dog's dishes, which he didn't do. I know because I ended up doing it to keep the dog healthy. One day, my idiot brother calls me into his room because he wants to ask a private question. I was worried the moment he said it was private. He wanted to know what to do if you saw something moving on the toilet paper after you went to the bathroom. I told him to go to a doctor because that was bad. So, he made an appointment and saw his doctor. Apparently, he was drinking out of the dog's water dish if he was in the backyard, and he got worms from the dog. There is a type of worm in our area that is almost impossible to kill in the soil, so dogs get wormed around here regularly. Our dog got wormed often, but apparently not often enough. By the time idiot brother got home, he was in bad shape and couldn't go get his medication, so he gave me some cash for it. Then I had to go to the local veterinary school to get medication. Human pharmacies don't carry this medicine because it was specific to this one type of worm. The lady at the vet school was dumbfounded when she figured out I needed it for my brother, not for a dog. Imagine the laughter when I had to go back 2 more times, each a few months apart, because he kept getting the same worms again. The dog did get wormed each time, but as the worms live in the dirt around here, she kept getting infected. If only this was the dumbest thing he ever did. So I went down in the comments of this one, and somebody asked, has the brother been evaluated for mental issues? And OP said, he has more than a few, but he refuses to get any help. Therapists all report to the government, don't you know? Just ask him. He was in the army once, so he knows it is true. He didn't get counseling or anything while in the army. He just knows that all therapists report to the government. He had a shrink for a short time, but he dropped a tree on her office and she ended up dumping him as a patient. She was treating him in exchange for repairs and tree trimming. Dropping a tree on her office caused significant damage that he could fix, but not in a timely manner. He cannot do anything in a timely manner, ever. He knew the chain he was using to secure the weight of the limb was not in good shape, but he figured it would hold up for 1 or 2 more trees. He isn't good at figuring these things out. I don't know how his shrink got around the report to the government nonsense, and I don't care. At the point that you refuse all help because of some government conspiracy, I am done. Just done. I have no patience with that nonsense. So I guess his brother has never heard of this thing called doctor-patient confidentiality, where it is like a felony, I think, for a doctor to release their notes and stuff like that to the government or to anybody asking without the consent of the patient. Our next post comes from Specialist District 7. My family just called me to get the family Kevin out of jail. My cousin is a complete and total idiot. And no, I'm not about to pay his bail considering the not seriousness of his charges. I love him, but he is the dumbest person I have ever met in my life. I just got a call from my mom that he was arrested tonight for disturbing the peace after pooping in the urinal at the airport. Doesn't sound like a crime, except that he ran out screaming for security in an airport. Apparently, 10 airport cops come running thinking they have a 911. 2 electric boogaloo. Instead, a dude screaming, "Cops! Cops! Somebody shat in the urinal!" Yep, he was attention seeking and yelled, "Somebody shat in the urinal," because he really believed it was a crime and wanted to keep them from knowing it was him. I went down to the comments for this one as well because I just didn't know what to say, and Spoonwood Tangle said it. While this is hilarious, some unasked for advice for OP. If this kind of behavior is normal, or worse, if it's getting worse over time, instead of posting bail, I tried to get the family on board with therapy. Frame it as, let's get Kevin help so he doesn't get himself into worse trouble. Use the bail money for that. Though OP is justifiably done with Kevin's behavior, I try to keep a lid on that frustration during any potential family discussions. That would increase the odds of actually getting Kevin some help. Let me know what y'all think in the comments, because I think this would be a good idea, because it sounds like he's got something else messed up with him if he was just trying to get attention for that. Our final post for today comes from Red Stiletto, and Jesus Christ, you have been on my channel a lot. Kevin can't afford a phone plan with extra data, so she pays $600 in overages instead. My roommate, Kevina, is a germaphobe. She presses crosswalk buttons with her elbow and won't use public bathrooms unless it's an emergency. That doesn't make her a Kevina though. She comes home and refuses to clean anything, ever. I found mold growing in the bathroom and asked why it doesn't count as gross to her. Because it's my growth. My germs don't count. She believes that washing dishes with soap lowers your immune system, so she just rinses them and puts them away, even if they've sat there for a week with food on them. She only does the dishes when we run out of them, and since I work 2 jobs, I can't always keep up with it. However, she scrubs the part where someone's mouth touched because, ew, someone else's germs. I pull cups out of the cabinet with old dry milk in the bottom, and that does not bother her at all. At least the rim was scrubbed. So now I wash everything before and after I use it. She threw away all our food once because she found a bug in the cabinet and was worried it was all contaminated. 1 bug, and everything had to go. Even sealed cans of soup were gone. She believes everything she reads, like the soap thing. One day we're doing laundry and she puts her work shirt in the dryer. Before, she'd been adamant that they could not go in the dryer or they'd shrink and get ruined. So I asked her what changed. She read online that the plumbing is all connected, which means that the toilets and the washing machine are connected and there's poop flowing into the washing machine. The only way to clean the bacteria of the poop out is to dry them at high temperatures in the dryer, so she cannot skip the dryer anymore because she does not want poop on her clothes. Oh my god, I'm gonna have an aneurysm reading these, aren't I? She brought gloves to change the laundry into the dryer, and wouldn't believe anything when I told her that wasn't true. It didn't help that we live in an apartment complex and you could hear people in the apartment above the laundry room, and sometimes you'd hear a toilet flush and water flowing through the pipes in the ceiling. Oh my god, why wouldn't she just look it up on Google? Is the toilet connected to the washing machine? Jesus. The night before we moved, we threw a party where someone spilled red wine on the carpet and offered to clean it up. She replied, "We're moving, don't bother." I rushed over with supplies and said, "I want my security deposit back," and cleaned it up while she just shrugged. She made more money than me, but couldn't afford her phone bill. She had a bare minimum plan where texts and data cost after a certain point. She couldn't afford the more expensive plan, so she just paid around $600 in overages every month because she always went over the limits. She was also a few months behind, so if she missed a payment, her phone would get shut off immediately, and the late fees kept racking up with it all. When she got her paycheck, we were loaded, but she'd blow it on anything and everything she wanted and have no thought of the next week. Then the following week she'd be poor with $20 in her account, anxiously waiting for payday, wondering if she could survive, only to blow it all again once it came. No savings and no backup plan. She started dating a guy because she was afraid of saying no to him, got into an abusive relationship and then couldn't leave because she was afraid of what he would do. That part was more sad than anything else, and I did everything I could to help her escape. She's okay now, well, at least safe from him. I can't really promise she's okay as I moved away. And I'm sorry it came out so long. Just Lemonade made a post in the comments and we're gonna read that. And it says, "I'm happy you're not living with her anymore. Living with someone who refuses to do any housework is living hell. They make twice the mess. At least if you live alone, you only have to pick up after yourself. But to have to pick up after another person?" So, I had a roommate who was also a Kevina. She was completely sheltered. Her parents were rich and did everything for her. She couldn't cook a thing, so she went to her parents every week and came back with a week's worth of Tupperware meals. She would take her laundry over there too and have her mom do it for her. She never washed a dish and would throw actual garbage, napkins, food, and plastic in the sink where it would get soggy and gross AF. She piled up trash bags of old rotting food in the kitchen floor because her mom would take her grocery shopping every week, buy her enough food to feed a family of 4, then it would all spoil and get thrown out because she can't cook. So, trash bags piled up in the kitchen and she never took them out even though the dumpster was right by our front door. I never wanted to touch them because they were always full of liquid and nasty AF. I had bought these dishes / cookware. I was tired of it all, so I confronted her kindly. I basically said the place was a mess and I understand we're both busy since we are both free that day. Let's clean it up so it's all gone. She laughed at me and told me to do it myself. It was such a slap in the face that at that moment, I was done with her. I took all the dishes and locked them in my room. When I used them, I would immediately clean them and put them back in my room. Her mom bought her a ton of dishes and cookware. It was all dirty after a week and sat there growing mold. I took them out of the sink and put them on her table off to the side so I wouldn't inhale. I wanted to throw them out so bad, but I felt her mom would come after me with a lawyer or something if I did anything. Those dishes sat there for 8 months until our lease ended and we split. I didn't talk to her at all until the last week of our lease. She kept paying rent, luckily. The last week she told me that she would clean the apartment, so I just needed to get my stuff out and that was that. I was really surprised, having expected that I would be the one cleaning everything. The very last day, she texted me saying she wanted me to send her $120 as my half of the money for the cleaning lady she'd hired. I laughed at her and told her she'd said she'd clean. I didn't really care about my deposit since it was a sketchy place that was likely going to fight me for it no matter what. I think that this genuinely counts as one of the worst roommates I have ever heard of. Well, alright my dashing dudes and darling dames, that is going to do it for today's episode of r/stories about Kevin. I hope you liked the stories, and if you did, of course, I'm going to link them in the description as always. And if you liked the video, subscribe, share, drop a like, and a comment down below what you'd like to see me read next. A humongous thank you to everyone who has subscribed in the past few months. It's actually been over a year now, but we've really grown in the past few months and I cannot thank you all enough for what y'all are doing for my channel. But with that being said, I will see you in the next video.